Greetings, I'm Christopher Logan Hill, and on this episode of Joe Takes, we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite characters, and that's the Beachhead from the Hills. So, let's jump right in and start looking at figures. However, before we look at Beachhead, we can't give a nod to the original Ranger from the Joes, and that'll be Stalker. Now, he's got a video coming up in a couple months from the hilt, but this particular retro figure, I don't know, it's like they hit dynamite on this one. He probably won't be in that video, but I just wanted to show him off. This is my extra one. For some reason, this particular figure ended up being like a peg warmer at Walmart there for a while. I don't know why. Really high quality figure. One of the better ones they put out for the retro line, and one of the best Stalker figures I think they put out. I know a lot of people gravitate to that original Stalker, but I never had that one, so I still don't have one of those. I'm going to have to see if I can get one here pretty soon. But today we're focusing on this Ranger, and that would be Beachhead. Now, Beachhead, I don't know, even before he was in the comic book or the cartoon, I saw that card art for him, and I don't know, I gravitated towards this character right away. I love the backpack. It has like a crossbow and a grappling arrow, like on the side over here. The grappling arrows on the side. Now, when we look at the classified backpack, you'll be able to see it clearer because they did some stuff with that, and we'll talk about that a bit. And then there's his Wasp. Well, that's what a lot of people call it. I don't know if that's the real name for that weapon, but that's his machine gun, the Wasp, and that was cool too. Man, so many fond memories of this figure. I'm pretty sure that I have new arms and a new crotch on this figure, but the rest of it is from my original figure. Now, he also came with a satchel of either ammo or explosives, very similar to the original Snake Eyes figure. Now, it's definitely a way different part, but the problem with this one is it comes apart in the middle like that. So, yeah, I think I broke mine about, in less than a year after I bought him. Now, in the vintage line, they did come out with one other Beachhead. Now, the accessories for that Beachhead are useless. I always give him other things, but they came on a tree, and he came with these two. This was like a recoil gun and a shockwave pistol, and I think that was a rock viper pistol. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, this is the rifle. I mean, the yellow just kind of said, "Okay, I don't like those," but whatever. Which is odd because my favorite character does have a yellow uniform, but. And the accessories, they should have been black or gray or something along those lines. Maybe even a green. Now, we'll get into that here in a bit. How that's not necessarily a good thing either. But this particular Beachhead, a lot of people don't really care for this one. I don't know. When he came out, I was so ready for a new Beachhead. And that was before I had repaired mine. So mine was all chewed up by that time. So this guy right here, for a while, was my go-to Beachhead. Some of it, like the bicycle helmet and then the goggles, that was a little weird, but it wasn't a bad figure. It had these like brass knuckles on the gloves. I doubt you can see that in the video, but maybe if I get a little closer. It was kind of cool, and I don't know how that translates into the camera, but the card art for that figure I have at the end. I have a clip of that I'm going to play at the end of the video. You might be able to see it then, maybe because the card art always displays things a little better. Now, for the modern line, Beachhead did get quite a few figures, a lot more than I remember, and I have most of them, but the 25th anniversary one, it was pretty decent, and I just love that 25th anniversary logo and the silver border all the way around these particular figures. Now, this guy, man, they did a pretty good job. 25th anniversary figures had their issues, but at least he came with a decent machine gun. It wasn't quite as wasp, but then the crossbow actually snaps into the backpack there. So that was kind of cool, and they continue that on into the classified figure now. So far, they've only got one beachhead, but he was a Tiger, not Tiger Force, but a Cobra Island exclusive. That line actually went into Tiger Force. But we got some pretty neat figures out of that Cobra Island line. Baroness of the Coil, which I've already taken a look at. And Cobra Trooper, which I got that lined up in a few months too. But it took me a while to get all these Cobra Trooper figures. And Beachhead, man, this one was, for me, the hardest one to get, probably because it was one of my favorites. But also, at the time, they were like, for some reason, they were going way up. And I ended up picking him up on Amazon. I have spent more on this figure than any other. And what was sad was in about a week, it went way down again. I'm like, well, thanks, but I have him, so it doesn't matter. And the box art for Beachhead is pretty good. And again, I have better versions of that. I had to really get a different scan. I couldn't really find a decent one online, but he's number 10 in the series. And whatever. I wish the Hasbro would have clarified, maybe put a booklet in here on what those meant, or even on the back of the box had something along those lines, because they just have these on all of them. This is the generic one for the Cobra Island figures, and then they have the generic one for the regular series, and that changed up a little bit as they went on. But box art was decent. I did like the background for the inside for the Cobra Island thing. I guess we you know what? That's in the trailer, so you can check that out. That's right, I already did that. But that takes us to the classified figure himself. Now, he's going to take us into what everybody's calling Cobra Convergence this month. Cobra Convergence 7, as a matter of fact, put on by HCC 788, and so many other content creators online. You can go to his website, which is linked in the description below, to get the full schedule for Cobra Convergence. Now, this figure, it came with the beret that was normally on his lapel, if I remember that right, that's the right word. And it's a cool little beret, but in contrast to how I feel about Flint's beret, Beachhead looks a lot better without the beret in the classified line. And then we get into these green guns. Now, as I said earlier, green guns, if done right, aren't so bad. But I'm not sure if these are good or bad. I mean, they don't look bad. And in the card art, they have these electronic bits that showed up as blue. And it looks like it was a good concept, but I don't know. Everybody called them Nerf guns, and in a way, I agree. I don't understand what they were going for with that, but I still like them. The accessory, it's pretty cool. I wish it was black or gray like the original Beachhead. Now, like I was saying with the backpack, and I was doing some photography for Cobra Convergence 7, and the backpack is with that, apparently. So, yes, we're not going to look at it. See, now we have this, the pistol, and again, it's in that same green, and does kind of look like a Nerf gun. Now, what I might do is actually put a little extra bit here near the end where I show the backpack, if I can, if I remember. Got lots going on today. It's a busy Saturday. But I got one of those generic battle stands. They serve their purpose, at least. Now, this particular figure, though, man, they did a good job with this on making him look like the original to a certain extent. I mean, naturally, you don't see the lapel. On the lapel, that you don't see the beret that's in there, because they actually have the beret out. So, in a way, that's kind of nice. But in another way, I wish that it had something where you could actually. I don't think they would ever be able to fold up the beret, but maybe they could have had something that clipped on like they did the Joe Pro. They have the Joe Pro there. They could have had something that, it would have been a little accessory that would probably get lost, but who knows? I did like the touches of red on his holster, and then he has a knife on his left boot. Now, oddly enough, when I took my look at Dusty's figure had a knife on the left boot as well, but then they switched it to the right, and so his gun, his pistol, the sidearm, excuse me, and his knife were on the same side. Now, Beachhead actually had originally two knives on that side and no pistol. His pistol was actually on the left side. And then for this, they went and put the pistol on the right side and the knife on the left side. So they flipped it. Maybe they're trying to fix things, but the way I see it, Beachhead was a lefty, but not this classified figure, apparently. Or like Beachhead would say, that's just for picture taking. Yeah. Yeah. So, it takes us to the character himself. I mean, he first appeared in the comics in issue 47 of the Larry Hama Marvel run. And this is one of my favorite covers. And I don't think you can really see it very well there. So I will have put it up here so you can get a closer look. And I know in the plastic, it kind of makes a glare sometimes, but I think I managed to get a really good shot of that. Of course, I had the direct-to-consumer copy there. I used to have the one with the serial numbers. I can't remember what they called it back then. Now, what was odd about Marvel Comics back then is the months came out almost 4 months early. So, like if it says, like on here it says May, that would have actually come out, 4 months earlier, and they would have said May on it, but it would have been, the May issue would have actually come out in like I think March, April, February. And so I didn't pick this up when it originally came out. I had to get this one later. The first one I got on subscription was actually issue 52. That's that really neat cover with Storm Shadow versus Quick Kick, which was nice. But we're talking about Beachhead today. Now, that was Hawk's new uniform, and that was the first appearance of Wetsuit and Beachhead together. It was a really, really cool issue where they went to try to help. It kind of goes off of the issue I was talking about in my Storm Shadow video last week, where this issue happens right after the Storm Shadow got gunned down on the beach. They showed up to rescue Snake Eyes, but that storyline is really cool and deserves to be checked out more than once. I've read this at least 3 or 4 times in my life. Well, okay, so that's the comic book. Beachhead in the comics didn't have as much of a presence as he did in the Sunbow cartoon, but he was there, and especially in the Special Mission series. He led a lot of those, and one of the coolest ones of those was the Low Light. Low Light was the feature character in that, and Beachhead led a team, and they were going after some computer chips naturally, and then Low Light was the FBI agent that had, or CIA agent, whatever, the undercover agent that they were working with, basically tried to set Low Light up based on his profile to shoot their target, but he didn't, and it was a cool little issue. That was early on in the Special Mission series, and that series lasted a lot longer than you would think, because at first it was every other month, and then they, about halfway through the series, they switched to being every month. But so in the comics, Beachhead had a lot of small roles, like when they invaded Cobra's headquarters in Springfield. Beachhead was on that team with all the toughest Joes, so that was kind of neat. I think my favorite appearance of Beachhead, I mean, I love this one, but was actually at issue 50 in the the preview for the Special Mission series was in the back of that issue, and him, Flint, and Lady J were on this special mission, and he had popped up inside this plane behind one of these terrorists and grabbed her from behind, and he said he put a knife to her head. And he said, "I'm no gentleman, and I have no compunction." So he was ready to take her out. You know, it was pretty cool. Beachhead was always ready to do what he had to do, and he'd go above and beyond, even in the comics. Now, in the Sunbow cartoon, you know, they had him as fourth in command. Like I said before, he was Flint's NCO, and I still kind of put him that way. Going and doing my Cobra Convergence right now. I'll get into that in a bit, but I'll talk about how I do my ranks a bit here for that. But my favorite moment in the Sunbow cartoon with Beachhead was actually in a Shipwreck episode where Shipwreck was telling a story to a bunch of kids. It was Once Upon a Joe, that's the name of it. I knew it popped into my head, but Beachhead was basically grilling Shipwreck through that whole episode, and there was a moment where Shipwreck asked him about the MacGuffin device, and that's what they really called it in that episode. And Beachhead said it was classified, and Shipwreck said, "So you don't know either, you know." That was a cool episode with Beachhead. And then there was Ninja Holiday, where he led his team of Joes in to try to stop Cobra from recruiting an assassin, and Sergeant Slaughter got kidnapped. Well, not really kidnapped, but he went to a tournament. And so that was a good one where they, him, Lowlight, Sci-Fi, and Leatherneck and Wetsuit, they went into this seedy little tavern and basically shot it all up when these two ninjas started acting all bad, and they just shot all around them, and the walls fell down, and the ninja surrendered, and Beachhead said, "All right, now let's have a nice little conversation. There's a free table over here." It was pretty cool. But anyway, in the comic book, Beachhead definitely had a stronger presence. Now, he wasn't in the Sunbow cartoon, and you know, I'm probably happier that he wasn't. Later on, he was in. He had a bit part in Spy Troops. I think he was in. Well, he might have been in Valor vs. Venom. It's been a while since I've watched those, but I think that he was really missing from the movies, and if they'd have really done their research, they would have put together a team of Joes that are specialized in that. And I think they should have either had Stalker or Beachhead in the movies. And in the first one of those movies, they had Heavy Duty. That should have been Stalker. Hawk and Stalker. That's my opinion, I think. But whatever. So that's my opinion of Beachhead. As far as the cartoon and the comic are concerned, now I've already gone over where I see him in the hierarchy of Joes and the ranks. He's in my headcanon, he's one of the first shirts, one of the sergeants under the top sergeant. He's my Bravo leader. Bravo leader is Fire Team Bravo. I have Fire Team Alpha, Fire Team Bravo. I actually have Fire Team Charlie and Delta, but I'll reveal that as it goes. But Stalker is Fire Team Alpha leader. Beachhead's Fire Team Bravo leader. And at the end of this video, I'm going to play that whole bit, the trailer that I had on Monday on Joe Takes number 10. And that was the reason I made Beachhead episode 10 for Joe Takes, is because he's number 10. But I think that's probably the only one I'm going to line up like that. It just kind of worked out that way, but I made it work out that way. So as far as Cobra Convergence is concerned, that's going to be throughout this whole entire month. And this episode was kind of the end of June. So I hadn't really intended to make it part of Cobra Convergence, because the next 4 videos in a row are all going to be about Cobra characters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little slideshow of pictures of photography that my wife and I've done. Okay, so let's give credit where credit's due. It's mostly the Tiger, who has done all the photography. I helped set up, and it was my idea, but she adds a lot to it and makes it look better than I would have done. I've never been really good at that kind of stuff. I mean, photography is not my thing, but she's an artist, and she made it work. I think. I hope you like it. That video of this little slideshow of photos will come up on Monday, and I did submit it to Hood Cobra Commander for Cobra Convergence. Whether he uses it or not, that's up to him. But it will be on my channel, and then it'll be on the Joe Takes at the end, like I'm going to do for the trailer today. And I think I might make that a thing. We'll see how that works out. But also at the end, like I said, I'm going to do a little intro, just an audio clip right after the trailer, and it will take us right into Cobra Convergence. So with that all being said, Logan out. Okay, I did find Beachhead's backpack, and like I was saying, it has the crossbow that clips in, it comes right out, and then goes right back in. It's a little harder to push back in, but once it goes in there, it stays really good. And again with the green, but it would have been better black, but it goes in. Then you got the little grapple arrow there. This, like I said, it looks a lot like the Beachhead's original, and so I just thought I'd add this in so you can see the comparison. Alright, take it easy.
Hit calling, Bravo leader. Come in, Beachhead.
Bravo leader here. Go ahead, Breaker.
The fighting east of you is under control. Flint wants you to investigate something Lady J spotted on the satellite imaging within 3 clicks of your POS. She thinks it's a bunker or underground compound.
Yeah, intercepts from the Cobra Comms have been mentioning something called the Dungeon.
Affirmative. That's your target, Beachhead.
All my fire teams are diverted to the south. Only Gung Ho and I are maintaining surveillance. I need some support if I'm to find a bunker.
That's a Raj, Beachhead. Alpha Leader is sending 3 members of Team 5's Alpha Squad. We are redesignating them as Team Bravo.
Why only 3?
Airtight is dealing with a possible chemical weapon and won't be joining his squad mates.
Sounds like Stalker's in it deep.
He sends his regrets.
When will they arrive?
They should be coming up on your POS as we speak.
Yeah, I see them moving through the swamp like a trio of, dare I say, copperheads.
Proceed to target and identify the entrance, then report in.
Fire Team Bravo will see it done, even if it's only got some gold bricks from Fire Team Alpha to work with.
Copy that. Breaker out.
10-4, Bravo out. Alright, Joes. Cobra's got some kind of underground bunker around here they call the Dungeon. We're gonna go find it, and then call into headquarters to help them take it out, or go in and take it out ourselves.